Two super important definitions for you, so you better make sure you've got these locked in, stick them in your favourites so you can come back to them later for your revision. We're talking about risk factors and non-communicable diseases. So the first one, a non-communicable disease. Well, a non-communicable disease is a disease that cannot be transferred, i.e. it's not contagious. It doesn't spread from one organism to another. Now, understanding the causes of non-communicable diseases can be a little bit more complicated, and sometimes we talk about the risk factors associated with those non-communicable diseases. And a risk factor is so risk factors are things that increase the likelihood of developing a disease. So there's not necessarily any guarantee there, but it increases the chances of you developing that disease. And sometimes we might look at the correlation between certain risk factors and certain diseases, and then scientists will go on to investigate those further to understand what is the causal mechanism. How does that risk factor contribute towards that disease? There's loads of examples of risk factors. We could think about smoking, alcohol, diet, exercise, stress, lack of sleep, age, ethnicity, biological sex, genetics as well. And risk factors, we could kind of lump them into two different categories. We could talk about lifestyle factors, which are things that people potentially have more of a choice over, so things like smoking, alcohol consumption, diet potentially. We could talk about medical risk factors, so these are whether people have other diseases. So if somebody has perhaps a mental health condition like depression, that might mean they are less motivated to go outside and exercise, which means that is then associated with a lack of exercise, which may then link to something like obesity. And then we also have kind of risk factors like our genetics that we have no control over either. So there we go, non-communicable diseases and risk factors explained for you.